Hi everyone. I hope you've had a great new year and hope your 2020 has been great so far. I mean, World War III is on the rise, Australia is on fire. What else could go wrong? It's only been a week. So let's talk Masters of the Universe. The toy line and subsequent cartoon that first was released in 1982 has definitely stood the test of time. Competing alongside the likes of such other popular toy lines as G.I. Joe and Transformers. But where Transformers has had a continued presence on toy shelves to this day, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe have kind of had a tough time. They've been mostly relegated to online exclusive, collector-oriented stuff. But what I'm going to review today is it's not like an online-only thing. Sorry, a professional YouTuber. I don't have a script. But, let's just say, forget it. So, I recently got into Masters of the Universe. I figured that, I had gotten into G.I. Joe over the summer, or last summer, and I realized that if I wanted to collect another 80s toy line, I could collect a third 80s toy line. I don't own a single vintage Masters of the Universe figure, because I think what I'm going to review definitely compensates. So, let's talk about Mega Construx. If you're familiar with Lego, you're also familiar with Mega Bloks, which is a well-known bootleg Lego company that has varying degrees of quality. Well, there's also another brand within a brand thing. It's called Mega Construx with an X. I don't know how you pronounce it. But, I don't know what, the difference is. Excuse me. I think it would be more like a collector-oriented thing. It's more aimed towards the fandom. But they produced Masters of the Universe figures. And me, having just gotten into the Masters of the Universe fandom, I picked these guys up. So this will be a 3-part review. Part 1, which is today, will be the single-packed figures. Part 2, which will be next week, will be the Wind Raider review. And Part 3, which will come a couple weeks down the road, will be review of the massive Castle Grayskull. So let's just get into the blind pack figures. These guys were sold for, I don't know, about $5 a piece. That's the MSRP, but there's no way you're finding them anywhere for $5. Because for some reason these guys, I don't know why, but it's really, you can't find them in stores for some reason. I got 2 of these things in stores. That was Castle Grayskull, only because someone returned it, and the Battle for Eternia set, which basically just a 5-pack of unchanged single-pack figures. So it kind of cuts down the cost. But the Battle for Eternia 5-pack was on sale, so that's why I picked it up. So I figured we'd just kick things off with the main protagonist himself. Here's He-Man. I'm gonna need a place to rest my arm. I got little figures down here on the floor. Okay, so as you can see, let me see if this works. This doesn't work. Okay, well, for those of you who watched the old Hot Wheels history videos, you may recognize the turntable I used. I actually took that apart after I stopped making videos. But here it is. Oh, dang it, still need more stuff. Excuse me for a second. This is where I keep my old tank turbo changers. Gotta take those out. Okay, I should do it. Dang it. Dang it, that still didn't do it. Okay. Okay, this doesn't do the trick. I don't know what will. There we go. That's not very close to the camera, is it? Oh boy. This is not good at all, is it? There's gotta be some way I can. Oh, there it goes. Okay. That better do it. So, He-Man, the main protagonist of the Masters of the Universe franchise. Sorry about the brightness. Let me see if I can adjust it. Was that stop recording? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, turn the brightness down a bit. So, let me turn it down a little bit more. There. Okay, it's pardon the. I don't know. Okay, look. So this is a laptop. I don't know if this is actually helping or not, but I'm turning the brightness down on my laptop. I don't know if the recording will pick that up. So when you mention, so if it doesn't, just know that that's me pressing the brightness key so I can see it better in the camera. I do not know if this will affect what you are actually seeing. So as you can see, the single pack figures all come with these spiffy little stands that have their name on them. These stands are 3-piece construction. The nameplate, a green, well, I guess it's the equivalent of a Lego 2x4 piece, but for some reason it's got a 2x3 thing on there, and then a 1x4 piece on the back. So just for scale, I have a Joker here. So this is in comparison to a Lego minifigure. So you can see they're about a head taller than a minifigure, and these figures have substantial articulation when compared to minifigures, because minifigures have a head that go turn all the way around, arms that can go forward and back, hands that can rotate 360 degrees, and then legs that can move forward and back. I'm gonna move this. This isn't working. Okay, there we go. Okay, so these figures, let me move the accessories here, have a ball joint in the head, so it can look up and down, as well as left and right, even though it may be a little bit hindered by the armor depending on the figure. A ball jointed arm, which can move all the way out, and 360 degrees. A bicep joint that allows it to bend 90 degrees at the elbow, and it can also swivel all the way around. Think G.I. Joe swivel arm battle grip. And then a hand that can rotate 360 degrees. Ball jointed feet, or ball jointed thighs that can move out a bit, move forward, and back. A knee joint, which allows the knee to bend 90 or almost 90 degrees, and then a waist swivel. So these are amazing figures when it comes to posability. So now let's take a look at He-Man's accessories. Oh, he has the power sword, which is in flat gray plastic. For those of you who don't know what Masters of the Universe is or don't know very much about it, the power sword is what gives He-Man his powers, or something like that. I don't know. So as you can see here, it's a pretty nice sculpt. And then he has his shield, which is also flat gray plastic, but with some red paint on it. And it is a 2-piece construction. This handle is a separate piece. To do the shield, you just put his hand sideways like that, bend the elbow joint, and then there we go. And then the sword I just like to keep like this. Oh, he also has a removable armor piece right there, that orange thingy. This one is sculpted on. And his removable rubber armor is like a rubbery whatever. I'm not going to remove it because it's really hard to remove it. You have to remove the head and both arms to slip it off and on. But there's this little thingy in the back. You can just slide the sword in. There you go. There's a little thing on the back. So there's He-Man. That took way too much time, didn't it? Okay, we won't have to go over all that for the rest of the figures, so that's good. Okay, moving on, I figured... it's a thingy. Let's just go with the other main character. Here's Skeletor. The Skeletor has a very light blue plastic for the torso. It's a very cool head sculpt. As you can see here, he's got the little thing hood there. And he also has his armor, which is this flat purple plastic. He's got his little thingies there on his feet. His accessories, he only has one accessory. It's his purple Havoc staff, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5-piece construction. This stick, this cone, he stubbed with a hole in it, this little stick here, and then the goat's head thing. Which, fun fact about this figure, pop the head off, the top of the Havoc staff, if I can just, yep, there we go. is compatible with the ball jointed head there, so you can have a goat-headed Skeletor or whatever. And just like He-Man, he has a little holster there for their thingy in the back of the armor for like a sword or whatever, but he does not come with a sword, so it's kind of useless. In the Wind Raider set, which again I'll get to next week, they include a Skeletor with a purple power sword based off his original toy, so it makes a little more sense there. But there's Skeletor. Oh, let's give you one last 360-degree turn around here. And all these figures are the same articulation, by the way, so yeah. Let's get him. There we go. Okay, let's move on. Here's Stratos. This is one of the rarer figures that you have to pay a lot of good money for to track down. So Stratos is the winged warrior of Avion. He can fly. So it's probably my favorite figure of all of them. Well, one of my favorite figures. Definitely in my top 3 or 4 or whatever. So his accessories. He has the Emerald Staff of Avion, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 piece construction. With all of these green thingies doing individual pieces, this being 2 pieces, this stick, and then the thing that holds the green things on there. He has a rubber jetpack, which is very, very satisfying to feel. It is made of rubber. There's no holster for anything in the back. I'm calling it a holster, why not? I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be called, but who cares? Also, an interesting side note, these wings. So normally, like these armor pieces that go on the arms, they like just slide on and off. But these ones, what you have to do if you want to remove the wings, you have to remove the hands as well. And it gets really frustrating because sometimes they're just trying to like fiddle diddle with these and get them to be on the side of his arms like they're supposed to be. It can pop the hand out, and it's really frustrating to get back in. So that's just something to note about this figure. Also, I really like the head sculpts and the colors. It looks pretty cool. So there's Stratos. Okay, here's Beastman. Oh, there we go. He's down. One of Skeletor's henchmen. See, very bright orange with some red armor, blue tights, and a gold belt. He also has this rubber whip piece. This is made of rubber, and it may come, depending on how it's packaged, it'll either come straight or warped. But whichever one, since it's a whip, it's not like it's a sword or anything. It won't really matter, I don't think. Just depends on if you want straight or warped. Because, I mean, again, it's a whip. And this is the only accessory in the line made out of this weird rubber whatever. So, with one of his accessories, he has this armor piece, this chest armor, which is hard plastic, it's not rubber. He has these 2 armor pieces, which are easy to get on, and then these 2, which if they pop off, is a freaking nightmare to get back on. Because he has a furry forearm, let me just... He has, like, his forearm, I don't know who else, or his forearm, I don't know who else coming out on camera, but it has, is it forearm? Whatever, below the elbow, it has this really, like, a furry sculpt. And since normally the clip-on armor pieces are designed to go over, like, the more smooth humanoid sculpt, it gets really frustrating to get these back on. So, just be cautious about that if the lower armor there falls off. But I like Beastman, he's cool. Okay, moving on. Man-at-Arms. In Castle Grayskull, the set, they have a Man-at-Arms figure based off the original toy, but this one is based off the Filmation cartoon appearance. So he has the mustache, and the bright blue helmet, and a really nice looking green and orange combination. I know a lot of people don't like neon colors, especially on like 80s toys and stuff, or 90s, whatever. But I actually really like neon colors if they work. Like on this, I think they work. So his accessories, he has this club, this little gun, this armor piece which is removable. This one's sculpted on. That one's sculpted on as well. And then this blue armor piece right here, which is just a standard clip-on armor. And then also for some reason his helmet removes. It's definitely, as you can tell, not meant to, because there's a tab for it that just pegs into it. Like they could have just glued that on, but whatever. And then also something interesting, he does have a little storage for his weapons. So the club here has this little, I don't know what's coming. There we go. This little hole there. It just connects or pegs into that little tab on the back. And then the gun has the same little hole, except it's on the side there. And there you go. There's this cool storage for his weapons. I really like this. Thanks, Mega Construx. Looks really cool. So there's Man-at-Arms with his weapons attached or whatever. Also has some really nice sculpting on there. Only in the chest plate. I don't know while it's coming out on camera, but it's got some nice sculpting. Okay, on to Evil Lyn. I can just get, there we go. Okay, so Evil Lyn, the evil sorceress who works for Skeletor. From the body down, it shares identical two studs with holes in them, this cone and this stick. It also has two clip-on armor pieces there and there. This is the deco, and especially on like the yellow, it's heavily based on her original toy. Because in the Filmation cartoon, she was more like a flesh tone instead of the yellow. Also, she had a cape in the show. So I like this. I really like navy blue. It's one of my favorite colors, and the navy yellow and like sky blue work really well. So there's Evil Lyn. Okay, moving on, we have Tila, who is basically just from the neck down a complete repaint of Evil Lyn. Let me move the shield so I can show you. So you can see it's the exact same sculpt, just different colors. That's how it was on the original toy too. So her accessories are this staff, which is a two-piece construction. The snake thing just clips onto that stick or slides onto that stick, and then the shield is also a two-piece construction, which just has a shield on the handle. It's kind of like He-Man's shield. She also has two armor pieces there and there, kind of a bronze color. She doesn't have her snake headdress thingy, but whatever. I don't really mind. I like this figure. It looks pretty good. Now on to Faker. And you know that with every He-Man figure, there's always a Faker following behind. Faker, as always, is just a redeco of a He-Man in blue and with some purple boots and orange hair, or red hair, whatever. He has an orange sword, which is just the same mold as the power sword. As you can see, I have it holstered there. He has an orange axe, which is a redeco of the He-Man battle axe, which is not available in the singles, but is available in both the Wind Raider and Castle Grayskull. And he also has, instead of an orange version of the He-Man armor, an orange version of the Skeletor armor, which I think looks really good. And as with the original Faker, I'm going to actually remove the armor on this one. Give me a minute here. Gonna remove the head, remove the arms. As with the original Faker figure, he has this cool little chest sticker to show that he is a robot. Also, as I said, the armor is very rubbery. You can just do that to it. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't want to like warp that, but there. Just gotta get that back on. Ugh. Sometimes it can be hard to get this stuff back on. So just give me a second here. There we go. Okay, there we go. There's Faker with both swords. Or not both weapons in his hands, you know, not swords, because he only has one sword. So there's Faker. And I think we saved the best for last. Fan favorite, Scareglow. Oh, it's a broken arm. Give me a minute here. So, Scareglow was an obscure character from the original toy line. It's one of the last figures released, making him kind of rare. He's basically a glow-in-the-dark skeleton man. And he is unique in that he has a cape. And this cape just slides over like the ball joint where the head goes on. And it's made of like kind of a plastic. You can bend it, but it's, you know, it's not meant to. Now also, if you noticed when I rotated the figures, they have those little back holes. It pegs into there. There's a little peg on the cape that plugs into the back hole. So anyway, he doesn't have any like armor on his arms, but he does have this two-piece scythe, which is this thingy and the pole, and of course the cape. He has really cool tampos, or printing or whatever, all over his body. He's got the rib cage and spine and legs and stuff. Oh, and then they even gave him back printing. So give me a minute. There, so you can see how pick. There we go. He even gave him back printing. Of course, it's gonna be kind of hard to get this back in. So give me a minute. I'm gonna get that back in. See, it's a lot easier to get it back in if the plug comes out or whatever. To take off the head, remove the cape, and put the peg back in the hole. Put that back over the ball joint. Just put the head back on. So, just like the original Scareglow, this Scareglow has a feature, which I will get to once I get it back in the stand. So, just like with the original Scareglow and with the classic Scareglow and stuff, this figure glows in the dark. So, I don't know how this will work. It's probably still kind of light out, but I'm going to turn off my studio lights. Or not really studio lights, but my the lights over my pet turtle's tank. And then I'm just gonna turn off the main light here. Let's see what happens. Well, that didn't work at all. I don't see him. I can definitely see him glowing in the dark. Let me see how I can. This is the button to. Oh, I'm turning it down. Turn it all the way up. Okay, no, it's not working at all. Oh, that looked really cool for a second. I'm gonna get my lights back on. Okay. Well, that was disappointing. I thought that would be a really cool way to end. No, this is. I thought that would be a really cool way to end this video, but yeah, shame that didn't work. So that's it for the single-packed Mega Construx Masters of the Universe figures. Next week we'll be reviewing the Wind Raider. So stay tuned for part 2. It's been Rod and Todd signing off.